Over the years, our kids have had a lot of illnesses. 6 kids means a lot of childhood sniffles and coughs. And when our kids weren't feeling well, it affected our entire home. Luckily, some clever guys in Brisbane have come up with the perfect solution: Rehydrate.
Rehydrate are delicious drinks that rehydrate up to 3 times faster than water alone, packed with essential electrolytes. Rehydrate is one of the few rehydration products that is safe for all ages. Stock up at Coles and be prepared whenever illness strikes.
It's the Happy Families podcast with Dr. Justin Coulson, the podcast for the time-poor parent who just wants answers now. We're Luke and Susie, a husband and wife radio team and the parents of 3 young boys. And today we're looking at a question from Michelle, who's asking how to reduce disrespectful talk amongst your kids.
Dr. Justin Coulson, maybe we're noticing it or being irritated by it a little bit more because we're more in each other's space.
I should turn my microphone on. I'm back. This is what happens when I'm in charge of the controls instead of the professionals. I do apologise.
I love it. It was a button-pushing problem that wasn't mine. So it's one of the few times that's happened.
Let me just say what Michelle's question actually is here, Justin. She said, how do you reduce/stamp out disrespectful talk amongst your kids that is speaking nasty, rudely to each other? What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, this is one of those things that has nothing to do with coronavirus, and isn't it nice to know that life is kind of still normal-ish in most times? If anything, though, it's being exacerbated. The reality is we're in this pressure cooker where our children are not getting the release that they would normally get from family. They're around one another constantly, and I'm hearing from a lot of parents who are saying the kids are just being so nasty to each other. The kids they're on each other's back. Part of this is boredom. They need some variety in their relationships. And so I would actually, before we even talk about how to deal with the challenge, I'd just look at the structure of your day and work out, are they getting enough physical activity? Are they having connections with other friends or with cousins or relatives via phone? Those regular, consistent touch points throughout the day, as frequent as possible, even if it's not face-to-face. Use technology and make sure that they're getting a bit of a break in their relationships from us. Are they having some downtime? Are they doing their reading? Are they getting their own space? That's just sort of a preamble for where we need to go. But as for the frustrations, I mean, you've got 3 boys. Are they niggling? Are they?
They're look, for the most part they're pretty good. But yes, there's been some. They have got a bit physical with each other a few times.
It's got a little bit more the longer they've been in each other's space without as much to do.
Yeah, and I think that because this is not going to go away in a hurry, one of 2 things are going to happen. Number one, they're going to actually learn to love each other. And some people just snorted their coffee when I said that. Or they're going to actually just get on each other's nerves more and more. And in many families, the conversations that I'm hearing are probably more centered around that kind of an issue. That's why people are contacting me. Obviously, the people whose kids are getting on great aren't reaching out because everything's going fine. But this is a glimmer of hope. This isn't to judge anybody. There are plenty of families who are saying, yeah, we're getting this together. The kids are actually starting to like each other. They're playing games. They're doing puzzles. Thank you, Scott Morrison, for the puzzle suggestion. And there's all of these really, really nice things that are happening in a lot of families. So if your family's not holding it together, it's okay. The way you respond from here will have some impact on how the family can work things out moving forward. So I'll give you a couple of ideas that I think can be really helpful in this regard. The first thing that I would suggest is that we do exactly the opposite of what we want to do. So the typical response from a parent when we hear this kind of disrespectful behavior, either directed towards us or directed towards siblings, is that we say, hey, you cut that out. Stop it. Calm down. I demand that you show more respect. We say these kinds of, maybe we don't say I demand, but we say these kinds of things where we kind of exert overt power straight away. We step in and just try to quell or quash the problem. What usually happens in that instant is that the child, regardless of whether they're doing something that's a little bit cheeky and inappropriate or whether they feel like what they're doing is, they're trying to defend themselves against their big or little brother or sister, what happens is number one, we start solving problems, which doesn't really teach them anything except for the big person can come in and stomp all over everyone. But number two, it often dismisses the feelings that they've got in their heart. And so I find that there's a more useful approach, and that is that we step into the room and we say, you guys really seem to be struggling just now, or it looks like getting on with each other on day 43 of our shutdown is becoming a really big struggle, a bit of a challenge. In other words, we name it to tame it. If it's mentionable, it's manageable. These are phrases that I use all the time. We get curious, not furious. We understand, not reprimand. By highlighting, wow, this seems like it's a really challenging situation right now, or you guys seem to be really struggling, or it's really hard to be nice all the time when you're stuck with each other and nobody else. What we're actually doing is identifying that, yeah, you're feeling challenged, so therefore you're behaving in a challenging way, and I get the challenge that you're experiencing. It's a much softer, gentler way to approach our children's difficult times. Now, what happens then is the kids say, oh, she won't do this, or he made me do that, or whatever it is. And we say, wow, it sounds like it's just all getting a little bit too much. How can I help? So we don't try to, we don't play the he said, she said game. We don't get into the blame and victim and, all that sort of stuff. We just say, you look like you're having a hard time. How can I help? And if they say something like, you need to send them to their room for the next 14 days, you can say, oh, don't you just wish that'd be awesome? Sometimes I wish I could send myself to my room for that long as well. But we draw our children closer to us. Our objective here is to step in, focus on their feelings, and ask how we can help. As we do that, our children will be drawn to us because they can sense our sincerity and our desire to guide them through it. And by the way, when they say, I don't know, you say, well, let's take a big breath and let's go for a walk in the backyard. Let's have a break for a little while. We need to have lots and lots of breaks at the moment. So let's go for a walk and let's just hold hands and distract ourselves for a few minutes. And when we come back inside, we'll have a quick bite to eat and see if we can work out a way that we can all play nicely.
Sometimes as adults we need to work out how we can play nicely too. This has been incredibly helpful for each and every one of us. Dr. Justin Coulson, thank you so much for taking some time with us.
Really great to chat. Thanks, Luke. Thanks, Susie.
If you've enjoyed the podcast, we'd love for you to get onto iTunes and leave a rating and review.
Like this one that came from Setter MJD, who said, excellent advice for a young dad. I only came across the podcast last week, but haven't stopped listening since. It's helped validate a number of ideas and beliefs of mine and challenged me on others.
So leave a rating and review, but if you'd like Justin to speak at your school or organisation, all you need to do is visit Happy Family.